The challenge of living with integrity in tough times. Life already brings its daily challenges. But when we face tough times, like money problems, family issues, broken relationships, or deep emotional pain, it feels like the weight of life gets even heavier. In these moments, the decisions we make feel bigger, and the temptation to take shortcuts, manipulate situations, or even abandon our values can feel like a strong wind trying to knock us down. Who hasn't been in a situation where the pressure seemed stronger than our ability to resist? The fear of failing, being judged, or losing something important can make us doubt our integrity. But what if these tough moments aren't just obstacles? What if, in fact, they're opportunities God gives us to grow our faith and character? True integrity doesn't show up when everything is fine. It's in the hard times, when the temptation to give in is the strongest, that it truly shines. Integrity is about being honest and having strong moral values, even when no one is watching. When life tests us, God isn't just watching our choices. He's right there with us, giving us strength to keep our faith and stay on the path of honesty. It's like a diamond being shaped. The tough times, no matter how painful, have the power to refine our faith, making it purer and more valuable. But for that to happen, we must make conscious choices. Instead of giving in to temptation, God invites us to persevere, trust in His wisdom, and follow the principles of justice, kindness, and truth, even when the world around us seems to be falling apart. But how can we keep our integrity when everything seems against us? How do we do it when the pressure is so great that we feel we don't have the strength to resist? In this video, we will explore these challenges and, more importantly, how we can win these internal battles, trusting God and staying strong in doing what is right, no matter how tough the journey gets. Have you ever faced a situation where your integrity was tested? How did you react? Share your comment and your experience. And if you want to learn how to live with integrity, even in the toughest moments, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. Let's walk this path of faith and transformation together. Chapter 2: Defining Christian Integrity. What does it really mean? When we think about integrity, many of us picture something simple, like not lying or being honest with others. But Christian integrity is much more than that. It's a deeper and more transformative idea that includes not only what we do on the outside, but also what's going on in our hearts and minds. Christian integrity is about living with strong principles that reflect the teachings of Christ in every area of our life. It's about who we are in Christ and how we relate to God, others, and ourselves. When we talk about integrity, we're talking about being the same person no matter where we are, who we're with, or what we're doing. It means being true not just on the outside, but deep inside our hearts. As the Bible teaches us in Proverbs 10 verse 9, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." This verse tells us that integrity brings us safety, both with God and with others. It's the foundation that keeps us strong, even when life's storms try to knock us down. Integrity isn't something we get all at once. It's a process, something that grows in us as we choose to live according to Christ's values. It involves daily choices, like being honest even when lying seems easier, being fair when there's injustice, and holding on to faith when things are tough. But most importantly, it's about living with a pure heart, seeking to please God in everything we do. For example, when we face a situation at work where we could gain something unfairly, or when we're tempted to gossip about someone behind their back, Christian integrity calls us to do what's right, even if it costs us something. Jesus, in his life, was the greatest example of integrity, always sticking to the truth and love, even when it meant suffering. Now, think for a moment, what areas of your life need more integrity? Where have you drifted away from Christ's principles, even in small ways? Integrity starts in the heart, but it shows up in our attitudes, words, and daily choices. Have you ever had an experience where your integrity was tested? How did you handle it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 3: God's Promise in the Middle of Adversity. In life's hardest moments, it's normal to feel alone, wondering where God is, especially when the storm feels too strong. It can seem like we're being tested beyond our limits. But the truth is that God never abandons us, even in tough times. He promises to be with us, to hold us up, and to guide us, if we choose to trust Him. The Bible is full of promises that assure us that God uses our struggles for good. In Romans 8 verse 28, we find this powerful statement: "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse reminds us that, no matter the pain or suffering, God is putting together a bigger plan for our lives. A plan that, in the end, will lead us to a divine purpose. In tough times, we can look at people like Job, who lost everything but never lost his faith. Job said, "I know that my Redeemer lives," Job 19 verse 25, showing us that, even when everything around us falls apart, our hope in God must remain strong. He calls us to persevere, to trust in His plan, and to keep our integrity, knowing that He is working in our hearts and refining us, like gold purified in fire. Additionally, in Philippians 4 verse 13, Paul teaches us that, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Here, God's promise is clear: no matter how tough the battle, He gives us the strength to face it. This strength doesn't come from ourselves, but from the power of God working through us. In moments of difficulty, we might feel like our faith is being stretched to its limits. But it's in those very moments that God calls us to deepen our trust in Him, knowing that adversity is not a sign of abandonment, but an opportunity for spiritual growth. With every challenge faced in faith, our character grows stronger, our patience increases, and our trust in God deepens. Now, reflect. When you face a challenge, how can you trust more in God, knowing He's working for your good? How can you see His hand in your life, even in the middle of the fight? Leave a comment below, sharing your experience. Chapter 4. The Impact of Integrity: How Your Decision Affects Your Life and Others. Integrity isn't just a personal choice, it impacts everyone around us. When we choose to live with integrity, we're sowing something that goes beyond our own lives. We're planting seeds of trust, respect, and honesty in the world. The Bible makes this clear in verses like Matthew 5 verses 14 to 16, which reminds us, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." This passage teaches us that living with integrity not only glorifies God, but also sets an example for others, inspiring them to follow the same path. When we act with integrity, our life becomes a reflection of Christ for those who are watching. Every true word, every act of kindness, and every decision to stay honest has the power to influence the environment around us. Imagine a workplace where people are trustworthy and honest, or a home where integrity is the foundation of family relationships. Peace, trust, and respect flourish, creating a harmonious environment that reflects Christ's values. Additionally, living with integrity has the power to heal. When we choose to be honest and transparent, even in our toughest relationships, we break down walls of distrust and uncertainty. Integrity builds bridges, while lies and manipulation build walls. When you choose to be integral, you not only improve your own life but also contribute to a more just and faithful world. Integrity also impacts our own lives. It gives us peace of mind. There's nothing more freeing than knowing our actions align with what we believe is right. This doesn't mean living with integrity is always easy or that we'll never face difficult consequences, but it does bring a sense of accomplishment and purpose. In Proverbs 12 verse 1, we read, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." Integrity keeps us on the right track, even when it feels tough. Now, think about this. How has your integrity impacted those around you? Have you noticed the positive changes that come when you choose to be truthful, even when others around you don't? Chapter 5. How to keep integrity when everything is against you. There are times in life when it feels like everything is working against us. Financial troubles, pressures at work, family problems, or even unfair attacks can make us question whether it's worth it to keep our integrity. The temptation to take shortcuts and act dishonestly is strong, and tough times can make it seem like integrity is too heavy a burden to bear. But it's in these moments, when it feels like the whole universe is against us, that our faith and integrity are most important. Standing firm and living honestly is what sets us apart as followers of Christ. We can't forget that Jesus also faced times when the pressure was immense. He was tempted in the desert, rejected by his friends, and taken to the cross, but he never strayed from his commitment to truth and justice. In James 1 verse 12 we read, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." This verse is clear. Perseverance in maintaining integrity, even when everything around us pushes us to do the opposite, is rewarded. Integrity brings peace, and while the reward might not be immediate, it comes over time because God always honors those who choose to do what's right. So, how can we keep our integrity when everything seems to go wrong? Here are a few practices that can help us stay firm. Remember God's promises. Prayer and reading the Bible are key in tough moments. God promises us strength and direction. In Isaiah 41 verse 10, he tells us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." These words remind us that we are not alone in the fight. Seek support from the community. Having friends or mentors who share the same faith can be a big support. A word from a brother or sister in Christ can give us the strength to keep going, maintaining our integrity even in the face of adversity. Remember that integrity is a daily choice. Every decision we make, whether big or small, reflects who we are. When you choose to do what's right, even if it means facing difficulties, you're building a strong foundation for the future. Integrity is not a one-time act but a series of choices that accumulate over time. Keeping integrity is often an act of faith. When we follow the path of honesty and truth, God honors our commitment. He doesn't let us fight alone. Even when the world around us seems to be falling apart, we can trust that He is with us, strengthening and guiding us. Now, reflect. How can you apply these practices in your life? Where have you felt tempted to abandon your integrity? Chapter 6. God using your tough moments to refine your integrity. When life challenges us in unexpected ways, it can be hard to understand the purpose behind our difficulties. Pain, suffering, and trials often make us ask, why does God allow this to happen? However, it's often in these tough moments that God uses to refine us, shape our character, and strengthen our integrity. In the Bible, refinement is a recurring metaphor that shows us how God uses the fire of difficulties to purify our hearts and make us more like Christ. In 1 Peter 1 verses 6-7, we read, "In all this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." This passage teaches us that trials have a divine purpose. They are used by God to refine our faith, making it purer and stronger, just like gold is purified in fire. Imagine a piece of raw metal that, to turn into something valuable, needs to go through an extreme heating process where all the impurities are removed. The same happens with our faith and integrity. The difficulties we face in life, though painful, give us the chance to be refined, removing the impurities from our character, like pride, dishonesty, and impatience, so that we can more fully reflect the image of Christ. Often, when we're in the middle of a storm, we may not understand what's happening. The pain feels unbearable, and the answers seem far away. However, it's exactly in those moments that God calls us to trust Him, knowing that He is working in our lives. He doesn't just give us the strength to resist, He also shapes and prepares us for something greater. Moreover, as James 1 verses 2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." This means that by facing difficulties with faith and integrity, God is preparing us for a fuller, more purposeful life. These tough moments can be seen as opportunities for spiritual growth. Every time we choose to do what's right, even in the face of adversity, our integrity is strengthened, and our trust in God deepens. Pain, though inevitable, has the power to transform us into stronger, more mature versions of ourselves. Now, think about this. In which areas of your life could God be using tough moments to refine your integrity? What impurities is he removing from your character? Chapter 7. Integrity as the path to fulfillment in Christ. At the end of our journey in living with integrity, there's something deep that becomes clear. Living with integrity isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about getting closer to the fulfillment that Christ offers. Integrity goes beyond just moral behavior. It's the path that transforms us into the image of Christ and brings us closer to the purpose for which we were created. In John 10 verse 10, Jesus says, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." This promise from Christ isn't just about material prosperity, but about a full life, a life of peace, joy, and fulfillment that can only be found when we live according to God's principles. Integrity is one of the keys to this fullness, because by living with honesty, justice, and purity, we align ourselves more closely with God's divine purpose. When we choose to live with integrity, we're not just choosing not to lie or betray, we're choosing to be transparent before God, allowing Him to work in our hearts and shape us. True integrity is about reflecting Christ's nature in every action, thought, and decision. As Paul teaches us in Ephesians 4 verse 24, "And to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness." This new self is someone who strives to live with integrity, because by doing so, they become more like Christ. Living with integrity allows us to experience true peace. When we choose to do what's right, even when no one is watching, we not only distance ourselves from guilt and shame, but we also draw closer to God, who is the source of true peace. Integrity gives us the peace of knowing that we're walking on the right path, and this fills us with a deep joy that goes beyond our circumstances. Moreover, integrity connects us with others in real and healthy ways. Relationships built on integrity are stronger because they're based on trust and mutual respect. When we live with integrity, we're building a strong foundation for our relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues. Integrity allows us to be a reflection of Christ's light in the world, guiding others toward His love and truth. And you, have you seen how integrity can transform your life? How can it lead you to a deeper relationship with God and others? Integrity is the path to living a full life, and this fullness is found in Christ when we choose to live for Him. If you want to keep learning how to live with more integrity, subscribe to the channel and continue following more content about how to live fully in Christ. See you next time.